have Alpha 7 and Pubg Gaming.
Alpha 7, Miramar specialists, as they have been dubbed. U2 Alliance, shots over towards Fireflux. This is all inside fighting in Los Leones. And with Los Leones occupying probably about, I would say, 30% of this circle, there's going to be a lot of teams looking to fight out of it fairly soon.
Fireflux dead in the center of Los Leones, so they're going to have a tough time fighting through everything. Luckily for them, though, HVP, right? Very hurt, just down to one solo player right now.
They're on 2.
No way.
They got the res. Tixie's back up.
Oh.
I guess they carried it. Fair enough.
All right, more power to them, right?
5 limbs, 2 players, HVVP. Don't count them out, I'm telling you.
Yeah. Got Stalwarts on the northwest, sitting more comfortable than all the teams in the middle. They could navigate this a little bit more easily as they aren't in the dead heart of things. Scry with that Scar long range. Ravenclaw getting really banged up here. This is a 4v4, though, for Pubg Gaming. And Pubg Gaming, I feel like they're feeling the pressure, which might make them play a bit more aggressive. Now, this isn't fully isolated, since you do have Nova in the distance right there with really great sightlines. There's a chance that if Pubg Gaming can get one opening, they push this in and try and pick up these points. They just don't know it's Alpha 7, however.
Alpha 7 and Nova is a real big roadblock. It's a very big problem. Next circle, just about to pop. It goes north, keeps a little bit of Los Leones in, but it cuts out 3 teams from those Los Leones positions that they currently hold. That's Fireflux, U2 Alliance, actually 4 teams as well, because you've got the Pittsburgh Knights on the southwest there, and Skylights Gaming coming on that south side as well. So every one of those teams is going to have to either leave and swing around or try and move north through the city. It's going to be tricky for them.
Yeah, definitely tricky. Nova right now, the biggest thing on their mind is what is their exit strategy once it shifts off of them, and then also they need to be able to pick up some points. Very difficult. This is almost away HVVP.
What? They just rolled straight in, and they're going straight into the middle. Power are right there. Tixie's super low, and they're just going right through everybody. Somehow, they've managed to stay alive for it. Tixie, sliver of HP, managed to get cover. They're in the circle.
I like how you ended that with, they're in the circle.
I mean, that's the amazing thing about it.
They are, indeed, in the circle.
What?
Like, as center as they can get without driving into a 4-man team of Inco also, right? Or 3-man team.
What is this? HVVP, you can't be doing this. This is PMGC.
They're playing the game.
You can't just do that and get away with it.
They're playing the game on easy mode. Power is applying pressure, though. Power are applying pressure. All they heard was one buggy, so they know it's 2 players at the very most. And Power, right now, in a comfortable enough spot in the leaderboards, like safety-wise in the group of survival, to be playing a little bit bigger and louder. So they're throwing those nades, trying to get something done. One of their players is knocked, though, on the other side of the road. I think they're trying to finish this fight before going for the revive, but none of the nades are connecting, and they will send one over after applying pressure. But this could work out for HVVP if they get that next knock. Grenades coming through, though. Maddox's going to hit this. I just have a feeling. There's no way he doesn't, just because it's HVVP, right?
To the window, launches it. Is it going to be on target? Doesn't quite find it, but does give the vehicle a little bit of jip. U2 Alliance in the meantime, taking a fight for the Pittsburgh Knights. Pittsburgh Knights, 3 players strong. 3 versus 3 for the bottom of the table spot. Will be going all guns a-blazing. It's Pittsburgh Knights to win that one out. Maybe with this game. They have, in fact, look, they are in 15th place now, not last place. In the meantime, by the way, Nova and Alpha 7 are clashing on the eastern side. A crucial fight for the table spots right now. As Nova want to try and convert their previous good game into another solid one. This duo from HVVP, though, still grabbing our attention.
It's a close fight here. Nova has 1 player knocked. They did confirm one on to Alpha 7, though, so Nova's kind of in the lead in the fight on the east side. As far as the HVVP Valley and Sand, hey, I predicted 7 eliminations. They could get it. Matic goes down. That might prompt the entirety of Power to push in, and HVVP falls short. 5 eliminations, however. Fireflux, a team that could really capitalize off this, is getting into a roadblock themselves, so into the form of godlike Stalwarts. And Stalwarts are looking to finish this fight out. 4 strong and only 1 up. It is Catch, though. Catch is pretty clutch when it comes to the Fireflux team. We'll see what he could do here.
Godlike Stalwart, 4 players alive. I mean, Fireflux better watch out on this one. You're right, it is Catch, but imagine that Godlike Stalwart are just going to try and move forwards. I'm glad that HVVP did go down there. As much as I kind of wanted that fairy tale story for them, playing with that duo sailing right through. They should have gone down in that scenario. That is necessary for me to remain sane. Otherwise, I might have.
For competitive integrity, you are not allowed to do that, HVVP.
Otherwise, I might have had to have been committed if they'd got away with that.
USG Donuts here. Holding strong with 4. This is another team that could break into the survival stage. They've been struggling a lot over the course of the days, but it looks like they're getting the better end of things as they pick up 5 eliminations. They take out the Knights, which pushes the Knights away from, passing them up. Still have 4 members alive. The edge of zone, however, as 1 million has wrapped around down south and causing some trouble for the Nova team. Nova's still in the superior position to win out this fight, but Jimmy gets confirmed. That is unfortunate.
There's Alpha 7 shots coming through, as well as I believe either from Skylights Gaming or Inco potentially. I think I spotted some shots coming in, maybe even Bacon Time. But 1 million now, having the tides turned on them just a little bit. 2 players remain, Marshall and Senke down the hill. 3 players for Nova, as Jimmy, as you said, did get flushed. That was taken away by Alpha 7. Marshall, position known, and Mythics finds a cheeky little angle onto order. Brings 1 million into a 2 versus 2 here, with Powerboy super low as well. Alpha 7.
2 versus 2 for now.
Alpha 7 coming in up the hill.
Yeah, 2 versus 2 for now. It's about to be a 3v2v2 with Alpha 7 coming in for the third party. Surely Nova knows when they got third party there, Alpha 7 is going to be looking to push. They got a confirmation onto Alpha 7. They know how aggressive Alpha 7 is, and Nova should have backed off already. Alpha 7 is going to come in and swoop up these 1 million points instead.
Just about missing that spray over onto Marshall. Looks for a heal. Frozen on the ball with the AKM. Is that Iron Sights as well? Able to nail those shots.
Oh, and gets the revive too.
Looks to drop down for the revive onto order. Can he stick it? Marshall, Senke, both looking to revive as well.
This is a 3-way dance that we have going on here. Paraboy with the great nade. Can they finish out 1 million though? They do. And now they have 1 knocked out of Alpha 7. This could be huge. Paraboys on the top side with a great supporting sightline angle. Order and Frozen pushing in from the low ground. All of a sudden, Nova somehow turned this around onto the backs of Alpha 7 and 1 million already eliminated.
And it could not be a worse time for it. Alpha 7, 4th place. They were on that chase. They were looking good to be able to step off this fight if they were able to close it down with Nova. Can they find that final opening? Paraboy does get spotted. Carrillo takes him down through the gap in the rock. Is there an answer for it? Order and Frozen were given the respite to go for those heals. They did manage to get a lot done. Mafioso and Carrillo for Alpha 7, the remaining duo for the squad, fighting off against Order and Frozen. Push over the hillside. Order leads the charge. Frozen is there for the haymaker swing out wide. And up the top rope, they're not quite finding those openings. Frozen goes low. Order still going in though. And Carrillo taken out, but Frozen knocked. Order last. Mafioso trying.
Oh my God.
Down. And it's Nova to keep themselves alive. That's the opening they were looking for. Alpha 7 are eliminated. And now it's Nova's time from the south side. Can they regroup as 3 and push on up north?
Give me a second to breathe. I was holding my breath the whole time. Whew. John's breathing too. I could hear it. You alive? Do you have a pulse still? Yeah.
Doing okay.
Okay. All right. No sudden heart attacks.
Alpha 7 don't. But Godlike Stalwart, 4 players alive, pushing in on their fight with Power right now. Power, obviously, the team that took down the miracle duo from HBVP, but it might be a little bit too much to ask for them to take on the full squad of godlike Stalwart. The strafe from Pika goes straight across the doorframe, handles business. Top the only one to fall, but they'll be happy about that. 7 eliminations, 4 players alive, playing on that west side of the circle. This, again, is a chance for godlike Stalwart to jump up a little bit further against HBVP.
Same for Vampire, though. They've been on this north side the whole time, just playing quiet, waiting for the right time to strike, and given the circles, they're 4 strong coming in from a dominant position. So this could be a huge game for Nova, Vampire, and Stalwarts Esports. Once again, 3+ teams and USG Donuts if they can finish off this Skylights Gaming push. They're up to 6 eliminations already, looking to push into that survival bracket. Nova looking strong, Frozen with the Mini 14. We saw him using the Mini 14 close range. That's how little left that Nova have to work with after holding that spot for so long. But it works out for them now as these are long-range engagements. That's a huge knock onto Ravenclaw. He will not be able to get revived. That hurts the 4-man team of Vampire heavily.
As USG eliminated, Paraboy managed to thread the needle on the shot through the window. Order under pressure, Shaw on the hillside. Was that a
sniper?
Was that a K9?
Yeah, he has
I think it was a K9 in the hands of Order, yeah. He's going to be looking to rip some heads off shoulders there. Nova have been playing on the outside of Los Leones for so long. They should have been able to get a bit of a resupply as well off the crates from Alpha 7.
Molly from way up high gets the hit in. But the circle does force Nova off the mountaintop. I think that's why we saw Order getting very close. No, they could stay in the circle one more, but they are going to need to come off at some point. They might leave one player up here for support as Order tries to thread the needle. Does not go in. Now, Stalwarts Esports, they have 4. They need to push. They're looking at the side of Inko.
Inko, once again, in this deep, in this late. 3 eliminations short, but this is great for the bottom of the tables as well. You're talking about those average point scoring abilities for the teams towards the bottom. So getting these 5th place finishes guaranteed, a couple of eliminations might be all it takes. But they are now under pressure from godlike Stalwart with a backline of Nova taking shots their way whenever they can. Paraboy's just lighting up the battlefield. The good news is they're also looking at godlike Stalwart on this push.
Yeah. And they have the zone here. Godlike has to push into the open, so there will be casualties no matter what. And Order threads the needle, by the way, from up high.
Wow.
Gets the finish. That gives them the low ground. That gives them the ridge line, too. Look at that giant ridge line that they could use for the next circle. Nova, all of a sudden, in a very, very dominant position, even if they lose that high ground. Yeah, just like I predicted, they send 2 down. They leave Paraboy up top for the oversight, and well done. Gets another point for the side of Nova.
Nova are absolutely on a warpath today. I mean, it feels like this is so refreshed, so revitalized coming through from the Chinese roster that has left us wanting over the last 2 days. A high frag game over on Erangel, now coming into Miramar. I think they're up to 12 eliminations on this one so far. Yep, there we go, looking for more as Order lines up action, knocks him down. Top looking for this res, keeping them at 3, that's the goal. Like Stalwart, Scry to Paraboy up the top rope, and Scry gets flushed out immediately.
Oh, and more eliminations.
Inko spotted, moving through 14 eliminations now. They are just punching hard, and nobody can stomach it. It is all-out warfare. Nova burning down the competition.
Give me another one. I think the last 6 knocks, maybe even 7, were all done by Nova here. They are looking so... And Frozen's got the MG3. Inko will pick up 1, though. And, of course, now we're down to the last 2. 3 versus 2, Stalwarts versus Nova.
4th place 5 elims is good, but Paraboy just finds top somehow. A sliver steps out and immediately is capitalized on. Order rushes forward, in with the UMP. Once the spray around the side goes down, but it's not going to matter because you step out into the open and you get ripped apart. It is Nova dominating on Miramar with an excellent performance. Alpha 7 thought they could do it. You got another thing coming.
Man, I expected a bigger celebration, but it seems like Nova's just like, we've been in this situation 100 times before. This is what we do, and this is how we do it. That was not a cheer of like a, holy, we just managed to do it, we're back in it. That was a, no, we've been here multiple times. we got to keep trucking on. And that was not an easy win by any means. Sure, they had a great position at the very end, but that three-way fight between Alpha 7 and 1 Million got so dicey. That was probably the diciest, most crucial, important fight we've seen all week long. And just by securing and winning that fight over, Nova probably give themselves another 15 plus points. I mean, they get the chicken because of it, and then they picked up at least 6 more eliminations because they won that.
That is kind of exactly what we talk about when we say it's easier to get into a city than to get out of it. All of those teams who went in early, sure, they survived late, but you don't have that chicken dinner punch potential, right? Nova, they stayed on the outskirts. They stayed on the outside, controlled the high ground, stopped people from moving in. Sure, it looked a little bit dicey, but as you say, once they'd won that fight against Alpha, it was their game to lose. They played it perfectly. They left Paraboy in the best position for Paraboy to be able to play from in that scenario. They gave him long-range angles. They gave him no contest. There is nobody who can do that better than Paraboy. He was dominating from that high ground. Order, this absolute cruise missile that exploded anyone that stepped up to them. Nova are back.
And here comes Nova. Alpha 7 having one of the best performances we see in game number 1. And Nova said, you know what? We're going to put a stop to that right there. Take them out and then have an insane elimination chicken dinner right in the next match. I mean, this team did their homework and they came to play today, 7.
They definitely did, and this continues on with what we were saying earlier. Those two teams, the one you mentioned earlier, Alpha 7 with the first match, and now Nova with the second match, continuing on the performance that they showcased earlier in Naringo. 17 eliminations, and I love what John was able to mention there earlier. Paraboy being able to get those off angles, being able to have the high ground worked out perfectly for them. And in regards to everybody else, I mean, this team, Glitter, they had almost 3 players with 1,000 damage. Nova is back.
I mean, this is insane, as we can see on the head-to-head. I mean, Order with 7 elims, but Frozen at over 1,200 damage? Are you kidding me? I mean, this was just a pop-off performance, and for Nova, they had more eliminations in this match than they did in 4 of their games, the first 4 games from yesterday. So, like Jukes was saying, they have completely done their homework. They turned it around from yesterday to today, and they are doing what needs to be done in order to get into that top 3.
Say less, say less. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better game or better starts today in general. I mean, their first game they did great. Second game they did even more insane. And I can only imagine how they're going to do in Sandhawk, because Sandhawk, you know, Nova loves to play in the jungle. So, I mean, it's just ridiculous to see them show up. And I kind of had a feeling the second I saw that match 1, that little snipe on You Do Alliance, I was like, Nova, they're going to bring some heat today, and they have. All right, let's go ahead and take it to a quick break, and we'll be right back with some more PUBG Mobile action.
PUBG Mobile. Prepárense para experimentar los nuevos eventos que se vienen. Prepárense y únanse. Disfrutar el juego.
we are back just like that. Oh my goodness, I am so pumped up for this. I'm your host Jukes. I'm here with 7WG and Glitter Explosion. We're about to reach the second half of the day here, and we always like that sandwich of Sandhawk right in the middle to keep things extra hype. Speaking of hype, of course, I gotta give a big thank you to Sony, our sponsor here for this tournament. Gotta give a big, just to let you know, Sony Xperia 1.4 and the Xperia Stream allow you guys to play PUBG Mobile in 90 hertz. It was created in collaboration with professional esports players, and with Xperia Stream's multiple ports and cooling system allows you to play PUBG Mobile just like that. So guys, let's take a look at the overall rankings. Let's not waste any more time here. Let's see how the leaderboards have moved. And
whoa,
welcome back. Hey, where's Alpha 7? Where's Alpha 7? What happened?
Wow.
Forget
okay,
there's a 7.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
Glitter.
And this is crazy because Firefox is still above the 200-point mark, which only 4 teams have reached so far. But Nova, in just these 2 matches, went from down in 8 all the way up to 3rd, and only 6 points behind godlike Stalwart, who are now up from 3rd into 2nd. So, I mean, the performances, and HVVP not safe by a lot, only 3 points. But like you said, Alpha 7, they're dropping down. And now Inco, look at the point gap that Inco has created over Evos.
That is lovely to see there for Inco. And I mean, this is a team that we've been wondering how they were going to be able to react now that they were in the top 11, that we're able to showcase that, hey, they're putting themselves in such a great place every single match that they can at least are able to steal some eliminations, get some eliminations, but most of all, get those placement points, and it's working out for them. Evils Reborn's got to wake up 1 million. I mean, if you want to get a chance, you got to wake up too. And a big surprise to it, and a team that might be looking to snipe that 11th place is going to be Donuts USG. We actually saw a little bit more of them on that last Miramar. I wonder if any of those teams are going to be able to step it up here in the upcoming Sandhawk.
It's got to start now. It has to start now. Like, literally, this is chicken dinner time for any of those teams at the bottom, because it's really only 11th place that's in contention at this point. I think it's their performance here. And to be honest with you, none of their names are here on this list when it comes to top performers, Glitter. So they got their work cut out for them.
Facts, 100%. But obviously, we've got Nova up here for top Sandhawk performance, and we actually have the entire top 3. So you've got HVVP, Godlike Stalwart, and Nova. So the entire top 3 are going to be top performers on Sandhawk. And then Vampire, though, is the one with the best performance, and they're a team that needs to make their way back up into that spot 7. Once again, we're watching teams have to take each other out.
I'm so glad you mentioned Vampires there, and I'm so glad that they're actually one of the top performing teams in Sandhawk, and that's why they're actually one of my teams to watch for this next match, because they need to do something to be able to react to what the likes of Nova's doing, and also to what the likes of Alpha 7 is going to be looking to do here in Sandhawk too. We know that Alpha 7 can sometimes perform really well, even though they might not be there on the top teams. Now, the reason why I put HVVP on my teams to watch is because they don't have that comfort lead anymore. They could be looking in some crazy scenario to drop out of top 3, depending on how some of the second place, third place, and fourth place finishes off. And I noticed that you still have a Nova there. You also have Godlike Stalwart. Okay, good picks, Glitter.
They're just so close, and they're both performing so well. Like you're saying, that there is the potential to overtake HVVP even, because there's no more big point gap for HVVP at the top. But also, I'm still watching Inco, all right? They have been like a brand new team today. I don't even know what's going on. They now have a double-digit point lead on Evos in just these first 2 matches. So, I mean, that feels good for Inco, right? That's strong.
And I mean, something to keep in mind there with what you're saying with Incos is, yeah, they might have right now a 12-point lead, but that's not enough. We saw what happened to Evos before when they actually had some kind of lead. We're still going to have 4 games left. After this one, it's going to be 3. Quick little math there for you. And you can see Evos is feeling the heat. They have made a switch in their roster, and I'm wondering how they're going to be able to react here in Sandhawk. We're not seeing those smiley faces. We're not seeing that relaxation anymore. They're going to be feeling the pressure. You can see Euro Alliance, they're maybe going to be looking to do some kind of a switch here. Samil, remember the guy that was always looking and smiling at the camera? That's not the case anymore. These teams are trying to make some kind of miracle happen here.
Well, let's see if they can have a miracle coming up right now. Let's take it on over to our casters for some action in the jungle.
It is so close. It is all down to the final couple of games, and I mean, I thought it was a one-time thing back in Group Red, but I'm so glad to see it again here in Group Green, that there are so many teams fighting for it, and definitely in with a chance. We are starting to see a couple of teams in the middle, those who do have not really too much to worry about, but also not much to gain in these scenarios. I'm looking at Damwon Kia, at Power Esports, and Skylights Gaming.
Yeah, it's also sad for me that you mentioned Damwon Kia, right? That was a team that we were talking about all throughout the week. And now, by this point, I gotta kind of agree with you. It feels like they've just don't have any gas left in the tank. And they've had just consistently, not even bad well, I guess it is bad if they're not getting any points to go up the leaderboards. But they're just, slipping down. See Paraboy there doing a quick little neck stretch before he gets into the start of this game. And by the way, this is like typical Nova fashion. They always show up towards the very end when they really need to get it done. But I don't want to jinx it just yet. They could still easily not make it in the top 3. Anybody near that, 4th, 5th place area could still break into the top 3. So things are still wire tight right now.
Yeah, we're looking at, I would say, 7 teams that can make it into the top 3 at this stage, with only 4 maps left to play, including this one. That is really close. Bacon time, 182, probably an outside chance at this stage, but still very much within striking range of Nova in 212 on the 3rd place bubble at the top. It is quite the gap there. It's a 30-point gap, but I mean, these are the teams that can do incredible things, right? They're the top of the table performers. They can make those things happen.
Taking a look at the map right now. There is a little bit of congestion towards the southern side, but everybody should be okay. Paraboy, I think Nova are trying to, split and get more control. Starting off, not just everyone landing in Painan, and teams are kind of altering their drops here and there, around this south of boot camp area. So that's why we saw Paraboy parachuting and then deciding better than to take a 1v1 and come back and land with, I do believe that was Frozen. Yeah, Frozen that picked him up. Bacon time here, all the way down in the south.
I'm looking at the split from HVVP and Pittsburgh Knights right now. This is 2 adjustments that we're seeing come through. Tixie dropped down to the compound on the west side of the river, down south. So that's on the southwest island, just to the east of Ruins. Coops is with him there, though. And Spec is on that northwestern island. Matic dropped all the way up northwest. This is something that we've seen from HVVP back in the European region. They dropped 2 on the mainland and 2 down towards the compounds on the river that Tixie is currently towards. But this is something a little bit new, right? Leaving 1 player out there and Matic being so far north.
And HVVP might get punished here because of it. And Tixie is spotted out. Taking a 1v2 here. Yeah, Tixie's gonna go down here. As strong as HVVP is, Tixie, yeah, he can't manage the 1v3. Tixie will go down. Yeah, a lot of adjustments being made on the very last game of Sandhog. I think teams are like trying to pull a quick one, almost, right? Last game of Sandhog, no more being played. They've done the VOD review. They're thinking like, okay, imagine if we could also get a foothold in Trifecta, plus the Northwestern Island. No one drops there. The Knights have been changing their drop here and there every now and then. But unfortunately for them, they will get punished for it. HVVP down to 3. Very good news for Godlike Stalwarts. They're only 3 points behind HVVP.
I have to feel like maybe a little bit of a misstep there. I mean, maybe you don't expect the Pittsburgh Knights to do something like that. Maybe you're not reading too deep into it, but before, when we've seen HVVP have success with this sort of a drop, they've left 2 players down towards the south, and they just didn't have that backup. With 2 players, I think HVVP could probably take on the Pittsburgh Knights at this stage. They are just that good. But they just don't have that sort of prowess. Inco move in fast onto the south side. This is the east shoreline that they've managed to take up in Trifecta. Xenox will be the only player from the Pittsburgh Knights on this side of the river.
This could play in big for the Knights. They don't know Xenox's position. So if one player, you know, I almost want to say if one player of the Knights gets knocked on the other side of the river, it might actually work out in favor for them. Because that might prompt a push for Inko, but I don't think Inko's going to push. Inko did a really fast rotation here from the quarry area to get dead set center. This is the center of the zone. Oh, Xenox throwing a nade. That will let Inko know there's a player on their side of the river, unless I think someone could chuck a nade from all the way from the other side of the river with that much accuracy. They should be a little bit more aware now.
Spec is going to put one up. So maybe they're going to see that and think, oh, it was just that. It was just the wind. Don't worry about it. Just a creaky floorboard.
Xenox proning around here. Meanwhile, rest of the map, everyone else is playing it slow. Inko, the only one playing it fast, making that quick rotation. HVVP also did lose one, of course. I feel like I just want to touch on it again real quick. I think that was a mistake because as you're parachuting down, you should be able to see, you know, the Knights, and the Knights have played this position before, so you could be a little bit more cautious, pull your parachute early, see two other shoots, and then have enough time to back up and join the rest of your team right on that northwestern island. So a little bit of a slip up, I have to say, for HVVP.
This is actually a fairly crucial engagement for the Pittsburgh Knights as well, because Inko, as we've been talking about, is the current bubble team. If Pittsburgh Knights want a chance, taking them down here would be great news.
Just getting any points for the Knights at this point would be great news.
It's true.
Yeah.
Over on the hill. They've rolled up to the back of Inko's position, but will have sightlines over towards Pittsburgh Knights as well. That's going to, I imagine, play pretty difficult for pretty much any movement now on these compounds.
Yeah. Nova's used to getting at least one side of the bridge due to the fact that they drop in Painan, right? It's so close. But Inko, like we said earlier, did a very extremely fast rotation, so beat Nova to the punch. Now, Nova don't have access way to that area, which is a spot that they usually leverage into their overall strategy and rotation on Sandhawk, so Nova's going to have to improvise a little bit now.
See if they can come up with the goods. Power taking a knee towards Godlike Stalwart, which is very good news for their run. Remember, a 3-point difference between the second and first place teams right now. Pretty huge. Will not be the nicest of feelings for HVVP to go into the final 3 games on the back foot, not in that first position. They haven't been out of that first position since they took it. There was a tie during one game with Vampire.
Yeah.
But other than that, they haven't been out of that first position. So losing it here would be pretty horrible. A south shift on the circle, that's quite interesting. It's going to make it difficult for the teams on the northwest. That's Vampire and HVVP. But do you choose west or do you choose east?
I choose the middle. I think Nova has a great opportunity here. There's that bridge down to the south, which is a little bit... Actually, I don't think they should go for it. Because if it goes up to the north, they're put in a tough spot. Yeah, this circle is a doozy, for sure. Ooh. You know, the Knights are in a good spot. Alpha 7!
Ooh.
They were on an absolute tear game number 1, put up a strong fight game number 2 against Nova, and just like that, 2 down to a nade. Skylights Gaming, an unlikely contender to be the ones to take down Alpha 7, looking like they will end Alpha 7 early here on Sandhawk.
But this is one of the teams that is now unburdened by the tables, right? This is a team on 142 points. No one really pushing up from underneath. Nowhere really they can go up top. So they can just go for these plays and try and make it work. Skylights Gaming, hang on a minute, Frozen's in the mix of it. Somehow, a little bit of a third party coming through from Nova up the top of the hill. I mean, it's the power of this hill to the east, right? Can they use that control? Skylights Gaming will have to learn to share with Alpha 7.
Fireflux just picked up 3, I believe, on the north side right there against USG Donuts. Fireflux do lose 1 member. This is a team that was in the top 3 just before the last game, and they are bumped out. They're in 4th place now, so they have to fight for their spot in the top 3 once again. Starting it off strong, I would have to say, with 3 points. They do lose 1. Alpha 7 managed to hold here. that third party from distance, slow things down for Skylights Gaming and keep Alpha 7 alive just a little bit longer here.
We'll be locked into this engagement. It's not ideal. I feel like Skylights would have gone for this push.
Oh, wow.
Had nothing happen. A nade through from Carrillo actually keeps them going. 2 players from Alpha 7. Another one to try and get the flush. Doesn't expose too much. Turns their attention over towards the duo across the way. Doesn't get that flush with the nade. Carrillo steps out. No sight lines from Nova right now. Carrillo.
I thought that was going to hit.
Nearly landing that nade, but Mafia Boy stays tucked in.
This went from a 4v2 where 2 of Alpha 7 got naded down to a 2v2. Alpha 7 showing what they're made of here on Sandhawk. There's a chance that they might even just push this straight up 2v2, get some smokes down, and just win the fight.
I'm looking at some rotations coming through now as well. Ooh, Carrillo gets spotted. That might be it for Alpha 7. We'll have to wait and see. Vampire have left that northwest island. They've managed to get over to the coast near boot camp. Little bit of a pre-fire. Takes down Alpha 7. The last player will fall. AJ can get res, so Skylights Gaming will be on 3. Vampire Esports managed to cross that river. HVVP looking like they're setting up. Remember, they did lose a player early to the Pittsburgh Knights, so they are as 3 on that northern side. They can wait a little bit longer, but they won't have a much with when they need.
Yeah, and the Knights are well aware where the HVVP team is going to be coming in from as a 3-man. So the Knights should be a little bit